All right. We're live. Hello, everyone. No. Huh. Well, I didn't predict that no one would be watching. Let me adjust this camera. There you go. Like my new shirt. That's great. We got one person watching. Ask some questions. Bring it on. What you got? Is there a way of making this shit bigger? Top chat. Live chat. How do I make this thing bigger? What's the timestamps do? All right. Participants. There's just me. I'm the one participant. That's weak. Hopefully this shit gets edited. This is gonna be boring as shit if I'm the only one. What's a pop-up chat? What is this? Oh. Does this make it so I can make it bigger? Ooh. I like that. Now how do I move this over here? All right, cool. All right. And then how do I make this window smaller? Because I don't need to see all this. Can I make this bigger? Ooh. Hell yeah. That's easier to read. Okay, 4 of you. Someone asked a question already. This only works if you ask questions. Ask questions. Oh, you gotta be a subscriber to ask questions. So like subscribe to this shit. Because the quality is so good so far that I know that you were desperately wanting more of this. The irony is, in order for you to see my face, I can't see what's in the writing. So this light is going to blind me and make it hard for me to see this. So we got 3 likes on this video, but I haven't actually said anything yet because no one's asked me any questions yet. Oh, fuck yeah. Here we go. George, oh, of course it's you. The carb cycling diet is good long term or it causes health concerns? I don't understand how it could possibly cause a health problem. Higher carbs. I mean, it's not higher carbs. It's the average of all the carbs. So if you're eating 200, 200, 200, 800, then the average would be 14 divided by 4, which would be what? 350 carbs a day, which isn't high. What do you think will have a great overall impact to improve health, injectable glutathione or taking oral Cudcut NAC? I don't know. Just don't overdose on gear and your liver should be fine. I don't think anyone needs any of those things. I mean, it just sounds like you've been abusing oral steroids, which you shouldn't do unless it's the last couple weeks before a bodybuilding show. The liver regenerates. You don't have to do anything to it. That being said, if I had liver problems, I'd probably take Cudcut NAC, but I don't. Have you had any clients take Suboxone? No. Have you noticed any negative effects with muscle growth? No. What's Suboxone? Is that like methadone? Is that for heroin addicts? Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. I'm glad you like the hat. It is an election year. It matched the shirt. So only nerds will get my shirt joke. All types of people will get the hat, but only nerds will get the shirt. It's like some really hard questions that come right out the gate. I wonder what kind of health concerns you think are going to come with eating a carb cycle diet, George. Did you just make that up, or is there something that you're actually like referring to? I put it on slow mode. I wonder if I can change this. Let's turn off slow mode because there's not very many of you. Because of your article on keto diets. I don't know what one has to do with the other. If you had to choose, would you rather increase the dosage of anabolics or growth hormone in a cycle? It depends on the only. Once you cap out on IGF-1, there's no point in using more growth hormone unless it's to burn fat. In theory, if you're already growing, you don't need to increase the anabolics because you don't need more to grow. You just need enough to grow. But if you're not growing and your IGF-1 isn't capped out, you can raise the GH. That's probably safer health-wise. But yeah, the only point of raising either of them is to force growth if growth will not occur. George said yes. Yeah, I don't really have heroin addicts for clients, man. I've got former bodybuilders and regular people. Not that I have a problem with heroin. Oh, your name is Ghost of a Heroin Junkie to Lifting Junkie. Okay, so you switched an addiction from heroin for an addiction to steroids, presumably. Well, no, you're saying you're addicted to lifting, not addicted to steroids. Okay. Well, good for you. That's a better addiction. I guess that's an interesting concept, is what would make someone addicted to anything. And to me, that's what I would want to work on, is being not addictive. Not have an addictive personality. How do I turn slow mode off? Because it only allows people to ask a question every minute. How do I turn off slow mode? People are like, well, old people suck at technology. It's like, or technology is just really designed poorly. Like, you should be able to, it says right here, you're on slow mode, but I can't click on it and turn it off, which is dumb. Like, why even tell me? Here's someone new. You talked about you taking 4 IU of GH. Okay, 4 IU at night of GH. I think that sentence is backwards. And 1 in the AM and 1 before workout. Another talk you spoke of 8 IU at night. So it's 4 at night, just a starting point? Yes. That it's not like the numbers mean anything. It's just you get the most anabolic effect if you take it before bed. But if you're not taking enough before bed to where it wraps around and hits you the following morning, then you have to take more in the morning and more pre-workout. So if you're using a tiny amount, like 6 units of GH, then 1 and 4 makes sense. But if you're using a whole bottle of Serostim or Metatropin, which is either 18 or 16 respectively, you could shoot the whole thing at night and it's going to be working most of the next day. I was saying that because the carbs turn into sugar after being absorbed. Not really. No, they turn to glucose. And a lot of people talk about how bad sugar is for us. And when insulin spikes, the body uses that as a source for energy. All right, so there's a lot of false statements in here. All right, so carbs do not turn to sugar when they're being absorbed. They turn to glucose, which is a monosaccharide. Sugar means a sucrose bound to a glucose. Is a fructose bound to it, and it's a disaccharide. People talk about how bad sugar is for us. They're talking about table sugar, which is sucrose. They don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They're not talking about mono and disaccharides. And when insulin spikes, the body uses that as a source for energy. And what he means is when insulin spikes, the body uses carbs as a source for energy. Right? So I don't see what the problem is with that. On a high carb day, you're injecting insulin to drive the carbs into the muscle tissue. So you can't use it for energy because it's not available. So it's an irrelevant distinction. That carb cycling isn't for non-bodybuilders. Carb cycling is for bodybuilders. If someone wants to lose fat and that's their only goal, then a keto diet makes sense because you can't grow muscle or really preserve muscle on a keto diet. If someone's a competitive bodybuilder, then you don't have to worry about diabetes because you're a hardworking person. I thought you were in recovery. Most bodybuilders know. I know coming from a troubled past. Well, that's unfortunate that most of the bodybuilders come from a troubled past. I've got 24 years sober. I'm not still recovering. I consider myself recovered. I don't think I've been to a meeting in like 10 years. It's not hard. You just don't drink alcohol. And people make a big deal out of it. I think it just depends on the personality type. But the types of people that go to meetings are extroverts. With the types of people that get recovery very easily, don't need the meetings. You just read the book. Should have a high carb day every few days to stop your thyroid from downregulating. Yes, that is the point of the carb cycling, is the high carb day. It's every 100 hours. You could do it more frequently. You can do it less frequently, but the point of that component of it, if you're not going to just prophylactically use T4 and T3, is to use the carb cycling every 100 hours. You don't have to use insulin, but it's more efficient if you use insulin. Although I'm not advising people use insulin unless they're a doctor, because people will die. Most of the people I know who I've talked to, they cannot figure out how to use needles. They can't figure out how to suck up drugs into a needle. They can't do simple math. They certainly can't say, like, for every 20 carbs, I need 1 unit of insulin. I mean, the needles are labeled with the exact amount of insulin you're drawing up. They'll still kill themselves. So that's why I've never helped someone use insulin in 15 years. Is I've never met anyone who could competently do that and be responsible. Some people are smart and they're just irresponsible or undisciplined. Some people are disciplined and responsible. They're just not very smart. So, like here, for an example, George sounds smart and he kind of understands what he's talking about, but he doesn't distinguish between glucose in the blood and the sugar people talk about, which is sucrose. And so that lack of chemistry would be fatal. If you made a fuck up that bad, because there's one for every molecule of sucrose, there's one glucose and one fructose. But for glucose is only one of them. So the molecular weight is half as much. So you can end up dead just from making the mistake of confusing blood sugar with table sugar. All right, burning tags. Thoughts on long-term semaglutide use? With it, I struggle with protein goals, but without, I'm always hungry. So my understanding is semaglutide has permanent gastroparesis in some people, which you basically have this horrible disease where your digestion doesn't work. So it's not a wise choice long term. And then when I have helped people use it, it was usually women who struggled with discipline and self-control. And it wasn't like any legitimate use of the drug. It wasn't like someone's competing in a bodybuilding show and they couldn't stick to their diet, so they wanted to use it as an edge. It was just people who were obese and just didn't want to be structured. And so they would just, in order to stick to the diet, they would take Ozempic, and it was 0.04 milligrams, I think, per day, because the minimum dose is 0.25 a week, but you do weekly injections, which is, of course, stupid. You should always do everyday injections, weekly injection. I don't understand why anybody thinks weekly injections even make sense. Hey, Doc, I wanted to ask you if berberine or alpha ALA truly help with insulin sensitive. Yes, because I appreciate, yes. Most certainly. That's why I have ALA, cinnamon. What else do I have? I have ALA, I have cinnamon, I have vandyl sulfate, and I have chromium P and isoleucine in the intra-workout battle mead at valhalla-labs.com, and that will help load carbohydrates. It's a much smarter way of approaching insulin resistance than using injectable insulin. Although insulin has its place for high carb days or pre or post workout, in extremely disciplined, intelligent people, which almost no one fits that description, then for people who aren't going to kill themselves due to math errors, that's when you use glucose disposal agents, which still work better. And Lantus is not as good as a glucose disposal agent because it will perpetuate insulin resistance. It won't correct it. Another thing you can do for insulin sensitivity is go for a walk after every meal. That helps a lot. Can I use fruits as a source of carbs? You can do whatever you want. I just think it's stupid because fructose is in fruits, and then fructose doesn't turn into glycogen. It completely defeats the purpose. That people eat fruit because it tastes good, not because there's a point to it. It has fruits. It has like vitamins and fiber in it. So if you're like an obese person who wants to like get carbs in and have like a dessert substitute, but that's not the population this channel is for. This channel is for bodybuilders. All right. Can we get Clen over the counter the US? No, you cannot. Do you notice blurred vision from M2? I assume you mean MT2, melanotan 2, and I don't notice blurred vision from it, but I've got 20/90 vision, so fuck if I know. I mean, everything's blurry all the time. I'm interested in becoming a client. Can I contact you? Yes. If you click the link in the description box, there is a link to the tap link, and then the tap link has a consult as the top option. Or you can just go to toddleemd.com, and here I'll type this out. Maybe it's clickable, maybe it's not. toddleemd.com. Boom. And you can go to the website and sign up for coaching, and that is how you become part of my flock, I guess would be the best way to put it, assuming I'm a shepherd. And I'm not calling you a sheep. So George, I guess I'm coming across as a dick when I answer your questions. It's because my material and my approach is not for the general fitness community. It's not for people who are struggling with learning about nutrition, that this is a bodybuilding channel. But I know that there's some bodybuilders who have fruit in their diet. That's fine, but there's a reason for it. So, for example, people might eat oranges or grapefruit because of the nangarin, perpetuates the fat burners they took in the morning. That they're the reason for apples and pears is, I believe, pectin. That the reason for tomatoes is lycopene. The reason for blueberries is for antioxidants. So there's a purpose behind fruit. It's not just like, hey, let's just eat some fruit because I saw some other people doing it. That doesn't make any sense. I'll give you an example. In the 90s, Ronnie Coleman, Flex Wheeler, all the top guys were coached by Chad Nichols. Chad Nichols was trying to load them all on HCBDs, but back then HCBDs weren't known about. Only Chad knew about HCBDs, and the only way he could find HCBDs were in this one brand of pie filling. So he saw all these people at the Olympia would see these Olympians, the top 5 guys who all work with Chad, eating this specific brand of pie filling, but they weren't smart enough to figure out it was all the same brand. So they would just go out and buy pie filling. So for the next 15 to 20 years, people thought you could load on pie filling. They didn't understand that it was to avoid high fructose corn syrup because half of that's fructose and fructose doesn't turn to glycogen, but they were going for HCBDs because it's a low molecular weight. So unlike table sugar or unlike even maltodextrin, it doesn't cause the bloating that some of the carb powders would have. So out of context, these little tricks don't make any sense. But if you know that there's a science behind the tricks, then there's 100 other options available to us now that weren't available 20, 30 years ago. All right. Benny retracted his statement. He's probably calling me a dick. DD, what is the best carb to eat? I'm in the US. I don't know if wheat is good because of gluten. Well, no, if you know that there's gluten in wheat, wheat is not good. And pesticides or rice. Yeah, man, it's rice. That's why bodybuilders eat rice. Jasmine rice to bulk, and I would say white potato to cut because it's more filling. You can have basmati rice if you want. It's a little fucking dry. And then sweet potatoes popular, but there's sugar, alcohols, and fiber in it, so it gives people gas. I am 6 foot, 195 lean. I compete in men's physique and now am competing in natural bodybuilding. Okay. I use fruits and haven't seen negative effects on body fat loss. That's why I want to see your opinion. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to compare 50 grams of strawberries versus 50 grams of rice, you're talking about like that much strawberries versus that much rice. So like fruit, oatmeal, potatoes, peas, like peas and rice, potatoes and peas, peas and carrots for a savory meal, or put some blueberries or strawberries in with your oatmeal in water. That's a good carb thing because you want really satiating carbs when you're cutting, whereas when you're trying to grow, you'd want dried fruit like raisins because they've got very little space for the amount of carb. You want nutrient dense foods when you're trying to grow, and you want not the opposite when you're trying to cut. You want foods that fill you up when you're trying to cut. Not that you don't want the carb sources to have nutrients. You want like lentils will have protein and it'll have fiber and all that stuff. All right. I don't know why your height and weight matters, but I have heard that there are a lot of gay for pay years ago. Have you ever been propositioned? No, I would say like 12 years ago, some guy offered me money for my used underwear. But then when I tried to sell it to him, he didn't end up sending the money. He just wanted to talk to me. I was like, is this some type of fucking trick to get attention? You piece of shit. Like, nothing I hate more than dishonesty. So it's these slimy little, you don't believe girls when they talk about how slimy and shitty men are until you meet guys who are coming onto you. And you're like, are the guys who come onto girls the same as the gay guys that come onto you? Because if so, it's so pathetic because it's so transparent. You'd have to be so stupid to get tricked by these people. I heard there's Surmer AI for psychoestrogen management. Oh boy, are you on the wrong channel? I noticed he takes politics tamoxifen versus an AI. No, he doesn't. He's on Aromasin right now. Where did he say that? He literally just posted yesterday that he uses 25 milligrams of Aromasin every other day, not tamoxifen. The tamoxifen wouldn't even make sense because it's not an AI. And if you like, I'm the big proponent of using Primo as an AI because you're trying to hit a milligram total anyway. That it doesn't make any sense to blast testosterone through the roof and then take an AI on top of it. You could take way less testosterone and take something neutral like Masteron. Or if Masteron's an AI in you and Primo isn't, the neutral compound would then be Primo. They're not interchangeable. In some people, neither of them are AIs. In some people, both of them are AIs. Most people, Primo is an AI and Masteron is not. Although the rumor is that Masteron is dry or an AI and Primo is neutral. That is actually the exception, not the rule. Hi, Doc. How many reps in reserve sets? How much rest time do you do? So it depends. I actually cover this extensively. There's a video I did recently called The Rule of Two. I'm like in the middle of prep right now. So I'm basically shooting for one RIR. If I don't think I can get another rep, I don't go for it. But I try to get it to the point where the last rep is very slow. That usually is an indicator of RIR 1. So with this arm, if it's like this, and then you go and grinding and slow, that would be my last rep. I wouldn't go for another one. the fatigue to stimulus ratio or stimulus fatigue ratio is very poor for the fail rep. Failure being, by definition, momentary failure, not voluntary failure, where you get to the point in the concentric phase where you cannot complete any more work and you just quit, or your muscle quits. You don't quit, your muscle quits. And that's what I define as RAR 0 as, is momentary failure. Sets, it depends on the body part, but I'm doing basically MEV, or minimum effective volume. Per week, I'm doing 12 sets for lats, 12 sets for upper back, 8 sets for chest, 6 to 8 sets for calves. I'm doing 8 sets for hamstrings, 10 sets for quads. I'm doing 18 sets for triceps, not counting presses. It'd be, 26 sets if you count presses. I'm doing 18 sets for biceps, 8 sets for middle delts, 8 sets for rear delts. I think I covered it. And 12 sets for abs. If you count the transverse abdominis abs, really, I'm doing 6 sets for rectus abdominis and then 6 sets for transverse abdominis. And rest time. I do between 2 to 3 minutes because I'm really tired. The studies show that 2 minutes is the best benefit you can get from it. Although if you're still huffing and puffing, then you can rest longer if you want. Dead Dude from Cheers, the second. I like that name. That dude from Cheers. Oh, the dude from Cheers. Okay, I got you. From the show Cheers, you're probably really old like me. How has your hair regrow journey been? Are you taking oral DUT? No, I do topical DUT. It's in the video on hair regrowth. I have several videos. You should check out the YouTube channel, but I have one that's specifically about hair. And I do topical dutasteride, topical RU5488, whatever the fuck it's called, topical minoxidil. And I don't do the derma roller right now because my hair still hasn't recovered completely from the surgery, which was February 18th. So we're coming up on 4 months right now. It really starts to pick up after 12 weeks. Before 12 weeks, it just looks like shit. After 12 weeks, it starts to be okay. Do you like the band Ginger? No, I don't, but I do like some bands that have female vocals. I like Unleash the Archers. I like Arch Enemy. I like fuck. I can't believe they're on tour with Dragon Force right now. I can't believe I'm forgetting the name of them, but I guess I don't like them that much. Team White Tan or Team Dissection? Dissection, for sure. Yeah. The album with the white cover, not Somberlane, which was a good album. Like one of the coolest guitar solos I've ever heard with finger tapping was in Somberlane. I think it's track 2 in Somberlane has it. John solo, but their second album, that one's a great album. I just listen to that all the fucking time. Is any bad side effects with taking HGH, or can I take it indefinitely? Your body makes it, so it doesn't make any sense that there'd be side effects. It's a very strange thing that people always ask those types of questions. It's like, if your body makes it and you're replacing what you're missing, why would there be any side effects? It just doesn't make any sense. So if you're taking 1 to 2 units, 3 units, maybe even 4 units, if you're a really big dude, then you're not going to have any side effects. Anything 6 and higher, that's super physiologic, and you might have some issues down the line, but probably not. If you have issues from 6 units, you're already unhealthy. Then healthy people aren't going to have problems. Hey, Todd, just sending my love from Australia. Keep up the great content. You got it, Mitty. Are you a fan of Broderick Chavez? It's like, I've listened to him before. I'm interested in what he has to say. I don't know that the things he says are true. I like his personality. I don't really have, I don't know where to even find his material. He did an episode with Fuad. I know Israel likes him. I know Juji Mufu listens to him. I know that Dominic Kuza likes him. At least they did when I talked to them about it. How long do you believe it takes for people to feel the full effect of HGH? I don't know. Forever. I hear people saying you won't get results for 6 months. I mean, it depends on what results you're looking for. Like, they're completely different. If you are looking to feel full, in other words, water retention, and you're using Serostim or a brand that doesn't use mannitol, then you're going to probably feel that within a few days. If you're talking about having a higher bone density, it might take 6 months to a year. Okay, so about the Arch Enemy comment, there's Burning Bridges was a great album, but I didn't think the vocalist was the best part of it. I think Angela was good, but I think Alyssa's better. I think if Alyssa and them re-recorded all of the songs they did from their first 3 or 4 albums before why am I forgetting the name of that one? But anyway, yeah, if they recorded their first 10 years with Alyssa, then I think that would be really fucking amazing. George, where did you get your transplant at? Turkey. It's a place called MCAN. I cover it in the video. If you look at the transplant video, would you ever get Lasix? Are there any major side effects? So I've got keratoconus, so Lasix isn't really going to help me. Bro, you look amazing, big and shredded. Thank you. Appreciate that. Water retention mask weight gain while blasting. Correct. That's why I don't like the whole concept that, oh, you got to use hush to grow. It's like, why? So you can be a water balloon, then you don't know how much weight's actually muscle. And you look fatter than you really are. How do you do adjustments to calorie intake? You don't really. It's hard. Just tell the fat pea just water. Exactly. Thank you. And that's the same thing with on the way down. It's like people are like, oh, I use test while I'm cutting so I can be full. I was like, so you can be water loaded and you won't be able to tell how fat you are. But I understand, like, they don't like looking small, that they, in theory, this hypothetical individual might be insecure, and that's why they're bodybuilding, is to make themselves feel bigger. And so they don't want to get smaller while they're cutting. If you never gave a shit about whether you're big or not, then you don't really care if you're small or big because you're never going to feel big. So what's the point? Like, the whole concept that like taking steroids is going to make you less insecure is stupid, because if you're taking steroids because you're insecure, you're going to stay insecure. You're never going to like the way you look because you don't like yourself. Is most antivirus fake now? No, I don't know why people say that stuff. Most drugs are real. Body makes cortisol, but it ain't good. Cortisol is very good for you. Does a whole bunch of shit. Cortisol is the reason why people's joints hurt is because they are on cortisol blockers or using Winstrol. Cortisol is great. You just not having it elevated all the time. It's kind of a strange thing that do people actually think that the body just makes hormones that are just destructive for no reason? It's so weird. Is there any benefit of taking 2-IU-GH? Yes. Or does body already make that? It depends how old you are. If you're over 40, you should definitely be using GH just for hormone replacement. Like 2-IU would be mandatory for people over 40. If you're under 40, you probably have to use 4 units to see any benefit. You probably don't need it. If you're like under 20, your body's making the equivalent of 46 units anyway. Who gives a fuck? Todd, can you see my question? It's funny that you asked that rather than just retyping it, but I don't think I can. Oh, wait, you're asking me, Todd, can you see my question? Yes. Arnulfo Reyes. I understand King. Yes. Arnulfo King, I can see your question. And for those of you who are watching and aren't able to type anything, it's because you got to subscribe. I set it up that way because I'm a manipulative dick. Is I want you to subscribe to me. Boost me, bitches. Boost me. All right. What do these little dots do? Channel activity, go to channel, pin message, report. Ooh, I can report people. I can put users in timeout. I can hide users from the channel. I can add them as a moderator. Ooh. Where's Josh at when you need him? Josh could be my moderator. Josh always answers questions for me. What's channel activity? When we're looking up, George Youssef. Let's learn. George has 0 deleted messages, 0 timeouts, 0 hides. And here are some questions George asked. I'm gonna look up all you fuckers. Let's see. Oh, there's more questions. Nope, it's still the same guy. Are we frozen? We're 34 minutes into this. Oh. I don't want to end the stream. Can I got to prepare some fun little slides for you guys so I can share my screen. If I could figure out how to make this fucking Windows operating system access my Google Drive without being a pain in the fucking ass, I'd share with you my spreadsheets and we can have fun with sheets. Nothing's more exciting for me than looking at data. Well, let's analyze some data. Yay. It's like when a whole D&D session goes to inventory management, where we're like, okay, how many people have health potions? Oh, you've got 2, you've got 0. You should trade him a health. Why do you have mana potions? You're a barbarian. I don't know. I'm just carrying this stuff because I have a high strength. I was like, why don't you have the alchemy set? Why does he have the alchemy set? It's like, I don't know. It's like shit like this. It's, you fuckers, you can't even manage your own inventory. So you have to have whole sessions where you manage everyone else's inventory, which if you're not the storyteller, you're not the DM, that's really like people don't like it. They're like, why you got to be in charge? I'm like, because I'm the only one with functional brain. Like, why don't all of us have a health potion? Like, and we should have a Phoenix down or the equivalent on the healer, because if the healer goes down, he can't heal us. So we have to be able to use the Phoenix down to resurrect the healer so that he can then start healing the rest of us. Okay, we got some more questions. Good. Getting blood work in Canada is like pulling teeth. Yeah, it is. You still work with Canadians, knowing that blood work will probably be near impossible. Blood work isn't really that impossible. All you got to do is set up a US PO box, and then I order you blood work, and then you just come into the US and get your blood work done. What is your go-to protein powder? Isolates, casein, or whey? I've noticed isolates give me chest inflammation. Yeah, I don't use dairy because dairy's how women get fat and breast cancer. Dairy sucks. I don't understand why anyone does that. Humans are allergic to dairy. And apparently you're not supposed to tell people that. Like, you can't be so, there's nuances. You can't be so black and white. I'm like, it's really simple. If you stay away from dairy, you don't have to worry about the potential side effects of dairy. That I use beef protein powder in the off season when I'm too full to eat real food. Sometimes I use beef protein powder. Is there any HGH that isn't made from recombinant DNA or RNA? I don't know. Facts. Can is hard for pretty much anything. Is nandrolone undecanoate the same half-life as nandrolone? It's probably about the same. One's got 10 carbons and one's got 11. So I can't see it being any different. I started lifting to feel strong because at one time I felt weak. I don't know if that's the same thing as feeling small. Well, no, it's not. It's a different insecurity. You feel weak rather than feeling small. You know, have you ever heard of an incidence with getting blurry vision from HH due to intracranial hypertension? No. Ron Burgundy. Backstreet a whole wheel of cheese. Wasn't even mad. I was impressed. All right. We're slowing down. We're at 43 people watching. Holy shnikes. Let me look at some of these names. Are any more of these funny? Damon Sim. Da dude from Cheers 2. Didi. Leonard Demicheli. Kyle Morrison. That's an easy one. Ron Burgundy. We know that's fake. Very cool guy. 345. Jim Bro Chad. Okay. This guy complimented me, so I should remember to be nice to him. How can you not fucking do this? What does this heart do? Who did I heart? All right, now they're rolling in. Michael Thompson. Karina has me on 270 grams of organic Greek yogurt every morning and 200 grams of fat-free cottage cheese every night. What's wrong with that? Nothing's wrong with that. If she puts you on Dairy, that means she wants you on dairy. 93, 94 Barnes of current corpse grinder. Oh no, fuck no. 93, 94 Barnes. It's not that I don't like George's voice, but you can't beat Chris Barnes from the good old days when he did Tomb of the Mutilated and The Bleeding. I mean, that is the sound of death metal. That's where death growls came from. He invented death growls. Why do you stop making posts on your blog? Oh, I wrote most of those, 14 years ago? I think people stopped reading. I didn't know anyone knew how to read anymore. So I stopped writing because I can shoot a video in 30 minutes and it might take me a couple hours to write an article. And then women would just complain that my grammar was sucky and my spelling sucks. And then I'd have guys that couldn't follow the content that they would complain that, like, why would anyone listen to you? You're not a real doctor. You can't read and write. And it's like, so their butt sore that they're confused. So they're lashing out at me, but no one ever gives hate on videos like they give hate on articles. My question is not appearing. Well, you got to subscribe to ask questions. I don't know what to tell you, man. How can I tell when you spilled over from carb intake? You look big and soft. So small and soft is flat. Small and hard is flat, but still has some fluid. Big and hard is full, and like that's where you want to be. And then if you kept eating carbs or water, then you'd get big and soft, and that's overflow. And you really can't tell if it's from carbs, salt, or water. It's kind of got to be like if you fix your water and fix your sodium, and the only variable is carbs, then you know it's from carbs. But if you're like a lot of guys that have 3 variables going random, like they're not tracking their water, they're not tracking their salt, they're not tracking their carbs, they never know what the fuck they're going to look like any given moment. LASIK is bad for people without eye issues. Is LASIK bad for people without eye issues? Why would you get eye surgery if you don't have eye issues? Why are these questions? Oh my God. Like, you must mean something you didn't ask. Because, like, there's no question mark. So, like, I don't know what's going on here. Like, is it a foreign person who doesn't do English so well? Are we on a lot of drugs? Like, why? And like, this is this you calling me out because I was saying people make fun of me because of bad grammar. So you're like, I know, I'll fuck with them by putting up a question without a question mark and without a capital I on is. It's like, I don't mean to be a dick. I was just born this way. I can't help it. It's like, LASIK. Yeah, like, I don't really know, man. Is LASIK bad for people with eye issues? I don't know. Like, why would you? What's the sample size of that study? It's like we arbitrarily did surgery on these people that didn't need it to see whether they'd have side effects or not. It's unethical. No one could ever conduct a study like that. Are we going to see you in the next bro chat, or are you politically incorrect? I don't. I think the official answer is that I'm too politically incorrect for that channel. That's the official answer. Thank you, Dee Dee. What medication do you recommend to help with weight loss? I don't know, self-control and discipline. If you want to learn how to lose fat, watch my series, How to Cut, on this channel. That the concept that people resort to sticking things in their mouth to solve problems is how they got fat in the first place. So I'm not a big fan of using the bro chat isn't the same without you. Thank you, Nick. Thank you very much. Well, guess what? It's not a coinky dink that this started at the same time that I was kicked off of the other show. So you get all you want of me over here on my channel, and it'll be random. It's not going to be regular. PRP viable option for partial torn rotator cuff as opposed to surgery? I don't know. I don't know anything about PRP. I know I had it done on my hair, but I don't know that it helps. You could like chat GPT that shit. Can we chat GPT together? Let me see if I can figure this out. Hold on. Let's look this up. Come on, motherfuckers. All right, Riverside. Ooh, let's go to Riverside. Can we do that? Share. Now, I don't know if you guys can see me. Okay, this isn't working. I wonder if you're still there. Is this working? What the fuck is going on? Oh, you suck balls. Can you like stop fucking sucking? All right. PRP in rotator repair. All right, here we go. Show more. Platelet-rich plasma is a treatment option for partial rotator cuff tears that's been used to improve surgical outcomes. PRP injection are applied to the bone-tendon interface using arthroscopic rotator cuff repair. PRP is thought to speed up the healing process by releasing growth factors that signal stem cells to regenerate in the injured area. PRP can also create new blood vessels to supply the tendon with nutrients. That's so cool. Some studies have shown that PRP can reduce the long-term re-tear rate and shoulder pain. Blah, blah, blah. For example, one study found patients, blah, 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 improved from 39 to 13. Okay, so a 26% increase in 2 years post-treatment. However, studies have found that the evidence supporting PRP was now still lacking, and that's because they don't want people country. All right. How do I get back to you? All right, so now I don't know where the chat. Let me restore the chat. Boom, I'm back, bitches. All right, so can't see you, still here. Oh. So, like, did you guys see me when I was sharing my screen? I mean, did you see the screen that I was sharing where I was reading it? Could you hear me? This is going great. All right, I noticed your waist is radically trimmed from your off-season look. Yeah. Is it purely a function of losing fat, visceral fat? Is it less bloating from a diet change? Is it a profound difference? It's probably both. It was just black. All right, but like, that's okay. So it was black. I failed to successfully share the screen. Could you hear me reading what I was reading, though? Was the microphone working? Smash the button, savages. Constitutional stacker. Anyway, what the Google does is that PRP would be great. It took me, I think, all of 3 seconds. We could hear you. I typed in PRP rotator, and then they filled in the rest of it, and I clicked it, and there were words, and I read them. And you're like, well, I know how to use Google Smartass. I'm mentioning you because you're a doctor. What do you think doctors do? What do you think doctors do? Do you think they just memorize everything that has nothing to do with their life? Like, oh, I'm an endocrinology guy, so I know all about surgery. Said no endocrinology guy ever. They don't even know about endocrinology. Thoughts on DECA only cycles? Watch my video about DECA only, bro. Oh, I did it for 3 years. It was great. There was absolutely no side effects or downsides to it at all. And then everyone told me, oh, you'd grow faster if you used testosterone. Oh, you'd grow faster if you used testosterone. Used testosterone, hair started falling out, got gyno, which is what I said would happen when I didn't do it. So I got peer pressured into people who would play on my emotions by saying, they basically would tempt me with something I wanted, which was more muscle, if I did what they wanted. And they had no science to back this up. They didn't even understand my counter arguments. But since everyone was saying it, I thought maybe I was missing something. I wasn't. The official answer, Peter, is that I'm not politically correct enough. However, the second I'm gone, Kurt's back. So, you know, I that's one cannot help but notice the quinky dink. Why is Mastron best? Is like I will okay. So my definition of best is a side effect free anabolic. So Mastron has no side effects. In some people, well, the rumor is that Mastron is an anti-estrogen. It is not in most people. It isn't in me. It has no negative effect on my estrogen levels. So you run just enough testosterone to get the estrogen you want for IGF-1 conversion, and you run Mastron as the cleanest, safest anabolic steroid. It's very simple, and no one wants to do it because some people like to talk shit, and because they repeat themselves in an echo chamber, that the people who learn about steroids by watching YouTube just believe how, if 9 out of 10 talking heads say one thing and one guy says something different, that one guy is obviously wrong, even if he's the only doctor and the only IFBB pro who's talking. Todd, I have learned countless things from your videos. Thank you. I scroll back and listen to all of them while I'm at work. I am in the best shape this cut due to your advice. Thank you very much. I'm glad to get that positive feedback. All right. Oh, sorry to hear. Love watching you on there. People asking in the comments over there. Cheers. Well, you can love watching me here. I'm not censored on my channel. You know, that the official answer is I'm not politically correct enough that I couldn't not say offensive shit, even though I didn't think I was that offensive. Did you run Mass 101 with Test? No. I actually talked about my cycle in my last video. Right now I'm running, okay, well, what I'm doing isn't really relevant to anyone else, but the party line would be run an HRT amount of testosterone, and then I would rely on a neutral compound, whether that's Masteron, Primo, or EQ in you. And most people, Primo and EQ are AIs, so the more of those you run, the more tests you have to run, which means the more DHT you get, which means the more hair loss you're going to get. But if you're hair sensitive, just run enough tests to get the estradiol you want, and then you run all of a neutral compound. Now, the only neutral compound I've ever seen in myself or in anyone else's blood work is Mastron. Mast is fantastic. I always loved it. Does seem to dry my joints some as I age, though. That's just because your estrogen's going down. So maybe Mast is a mild AI in you. Dry joints equals low estrogen. How important is HOMA index in blood work? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Let me look that up. How do I share my fucking screen? God damn it. All right. Entire screen. That's not helpful. Oh. Chrome tab. Riverside dashboard. No, I don't want Riverside dashboard. No, fuck this shit, man. Can I do this? All right. How do I share this goddamn thing? Oh my God, this is so annoying. New tab. Yeah, let's share it. But then I can't see me. Like, this is so fucking dumb. Why can't you share that tab? Oh, hell yeah. Now it works. Oh, but I can't type in this bitch. This is so fun. There's got to be an easier way of doing this. Edit. What does the edit button do? Oh, no. We don't want to edit. All right. Why can't I have like a child or something? Pop out dashboard? What's that? No. No, I don't want that. All right. Well, so we can see the screen, but I see it and type on it. If you get StreamYard, I have StreamYard, but the thing with StreamYard, is I can't post it directly to YouTube, and then the editing guys can't edit it correctly. If I use StreamYard, I have to then upload it to the Google Drive. And because it's a Windows operating system, it won't let me upload it to Google Drive because Windows and Google's compete. So I'm just going to hop over here. Hopefully, you guys still see me and hear me. All right. So, what the fuck am I looking up? God damn it. What was I looking up? HOMA index. All right. HOMA index. HOMA index. Okay, let me go back over here. Oh, fuck you. All right, here we go. The homeostatic model assessment index is a blood test that measures a person's insulin resistance levels. It uses fasted measurements of blood glucose and insulin concentrations to calculate instances of insulin sensitivity and beta cell function. The HOMA model is based on the idea that glucose and insulin concentrations are related by glucose feedback to beta cells. Duh. All right, so this is so funny. They have a fucking formula for this. Okay, God, that's so disappointing. So what I do is I look and I'm like, is their glucose normal? Yes. Is their insulin normal? Yes. They're healthy. Is their glucose normal? Yes. Is their insulin high? They've got insulin resistance, but it's subclinical insulin resistance. Is their fasted glucose high? Yes. Is their insulin high? They've got advanced insulin resistance. Is their fasting glucose over 126? Yes. They've got diabetes. That's how I do it. I have my own system. I didn't know about this fucking index shit. It's so funny. They've got these like medicine by numbers things for morons so that they can't come up with an algorithm in their head. Could tell there was attention coming from Kurt on one of those lives. He jumped down your throat about insulin. Of course, you were not talking about everyone should use it. It's a bodybuilding channel. Exactly. Yeah. I'm not going to get into the Kurt situation. I'm glad people understood it as a one-way aggression because it's just like it was way worse in our live chat. It was way worse in our live chat. Once in a blue moon, it was like that on the channel, but it was way worse on the live chat. But somehow 200 milligrams of Winstrol is okay. Yeah, I know. That's because AJ told him that. So he just repeats whatever. Whoever he listens to that day is what he repeats. Together with 250 minutes every other day. What the other talking heads are saying is always about pushing their agenda or what they believe, not necessarily where the evidence leads them from what they believe. That's the difference. Thank you, buddy. Seth Cardos, do all AAs age your skin the same rate? Or are there some that have less an effect on wrinkles? So here's the thing that I think is funny is everyone's telling me that steroids make me look old because I'm fucking old. It's like when I was young, no one said that my steroids made me look old. Like I look my age considering how low my body fat percentage is. Nobody said I look old 6 months ago when my body fat percentage was 15 or 20. You know what I mean? Like I actually thought I looked older, but it's just people aren't that smart. Is they assume that what they see is a direct relationship from what they think is going on, not like he looks younger than a normal 45-year-old dude. Like this is what do you think a 45-year-old dude looks like? You know, that's what you look like when you're 45. So the answer to your question isn't about me, right? I'm personalizing it. Do all AAs age your skin at the same rate? I don't think they do age your skin. Are there some that have less effect on wrinkles, skin aging? I don't know what correlation there is between the two. I'm looking to trying HGK peptides. Hope it works. What's I don't know, growth hormone K peptides? I don't know what that is. Why does Sebum look 40 then? I don't know. I don't think he looks 40. I think Sebum, first of all, would prove that steroids don't age you because aren't what's aging him because he only uses like 250 milligrams maybe in the off season. He only runs 500 milligrams in competition prep. CBum uses almost no steroids because he's not trying to grow. He has a hard time making weight for his weight cap. Come on, Seth. Making assumptions that CBum uses steroids. He used a lot of steroids to turn pro, but once he was already a pro, he didn't need to. No, copper peptides to build collagen, tighten the skin, mask fine wrinkles. Huh. Let's see. Oh, wait. I almost fucked up again. Let's do this tab shit. Did it work? It worked. Okay. GHK. Skin. Skincare. Oh no. This is now that women will buy something, let's sell it to them. Women will buy anything if you tell them it'll make them look less ugly. Nope, nothing intelligent here. It's all marketing. I should have said, we got to think of a manly way to say this. Collagen peptide copper. Let's do that. Boom. Nope. Fuck. Here we go. It's so funny. Regenerative and protective actions of GHK copper peptide in the light of new gene data. Abstract. Oh man, we got to read the whole fucking thing. All right. Human peptide GHK glycyl L-histidyl L-lysine has multiple biological actions, all of which, according to our current knowledge, appear to be health positive. It stimulates blood vessels and nerve outgrowth, increases collagen, elastin, and glycosaminoglycan synthesis. Did I say that right? Fuck yeah, I did. Oh yeah. As well as supports the functions of dermal fibroblasts. GHK's ability, which really should be L, ability to improve tissue repair has been demonstrated for skin, lung connective tissue, bony tissue, liver, and stomach lining. GHK has also been found to possess powerful cell protection actions such as multiple anti-cancer activities and anti-inflammatory actions, lung protective and restoration of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, fibroblasts, suppression of molecules through thought to accelerate the disease of aging, such as NFK beta, anti-anxiety, anti-pain, anti-aggression activities, DNA repair, activation of cell cleansing via the proteasome system. It pays your car payment and sucks your dick. Recent genetic data may explain such diverse protective healing actions. This must be a paid-for study because they're totally trying to get you to buy it. Like, no, this is NCBI. Believe me, the government's as corrupt as everyone's. So maybe it works. They sure as fuck like to pretend it does. I guess I'd have to read the whole thing to find out if there's any validity to it. I've been dropping some GHKCU peptide out of my syringe to mix it in with my moisturizer at night. Okay. Any chance of adding Dr. Strano again on your channel? Yeah, I could ask him to come back again. What do you want me to talk to him about? I've thought of doing that too, Seth. Todd, are you and Kurt beefing? No. I can't. Even if I was, I can't talk about it. All right. Just finished a cut on 200 tests a week and 200 IU of GH. Currently 7% body fat. I want to put 10 pounds of muscle by next year. My blood numbers are great. Should I blast right away for the rebound? I don't think it's possible to put on 10 pounds of muscle in a year. I mean, highly unlikely. Certainly not. And you're probably not 7% body fat. That sounds like some caliper bullshit. Because I'm like 9, maybe 8. Not that you can't be leaner than me, but I mean, fuck. And you see how skeletal my face is? Yeah, so whatever. Well, to answer your question, blood markers are great. Should I blast right away from the rebound? I guess so. I don't really believe in rebounds. That's a Paul thing. That's really more of a question for Paul. I don't really deal with rebounds. To me, you rebound body fat. You don't rebound muscle. You can grow back the muscle you lost, and it seems like you're growing a lot of muscle, but you're not. You can resynthesize glycogen, but you don't have to blast for that. You can just turn the carbs up to food up to maintenance, and then run a normal amount of gear. You know, like whatever you need to grow. If it's 1,100 milligrams, there's no reason to take more. Why do no take what? Why do no take something minoxidil? Why do no take oral minoxidil? Because it kills you. That was designed for heart. That's a vasodilator. Your hair's on the top of your head. It's not inside your body. I tell my girlfriend, no, I don't eat that ice cream. No, don't eat that cake. She ignores my advice and then blames me. Should I cheat on her? What the fuck? I hope this is a joke. Can a diet in general cause higher inflammation and ferritin? No. Usually, reducing calories decreases inflammation. And the ferritin thing confuses me. Let's see what this shit is. Oops. Ooh. All right. Back. Ferritin. Here we go. Some studies have found that calorie restriction can affect ferritin levels in different ways. Chronic liver disease, which you don't have, food restriction, found that short-term food restrictions can cause iron deficiency and negatively correlate with serum ferritin levels in women. Well, yeah, because they don't eat meat, and so they don't get more iron. Nothing in women matters because they don't. 223 studies found that about 25% of patients with restrictive type anorexia nervosa have increased ferritin. All right, so let me answer the question. I've got enough to go on here. Where the fuck did you go? Here you go. So what I think, here's what if you were malnourished due to your calorie restriction, then yeah. But if you were smart about your diet and you took your calories out of fat and your carbs and not out of, you didn't decrease the amount of iron in your diet, then no, you shouldn't have a decrease in ferritin levels. I thought vasodilators are good for pumps and stuff. I'm like, yeah, they are, but there's magnitude and stuff, dude. All right, have you used test suspension as a pre-workout? No, because it's in water and then it's going to be prone to infection. I don't want to inject aqueous gear. And plus, I don't understand the point of using testosterone as a pre-workout. Like, that's not logical. Use Anavar as a pre-workout. Can prolonged low carb or low calories diet cause decreased function of pancreas? I mean, if you have no signal to the beta islet cells to produce insulin, you're going to have decreased insulin production. Would that mean that you would have, or they wouldn't work in the future? No, I would think they'd work just fine in the future. You should look up that DNA plasmid fragment and recombinant HGH. You might never take. Yeah, I don't really think that's really worth my time. Why didn't West want to date Clara? I don't know. I don't know who West or Clara is. All right, guys. It's been over an hour. I'm going to have to get a meal in. It's 1 a.m. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I will talk to you later.